Good afternoon, my name is Devdutt Pattanaik. So I usually don't wear kurtas and dhotis in my lectures, ever. Because in our country, where people can't make the distinction between mythology and history, if you wear a dhoti, people think you're a guruji and they fall at your feet. And you can say any nonsense and they believe it is true. And that's the problem with the dhoti, especially if you're an educated person. If you're not an educated person, then such a dhoti है तो गंवार है. लेकिन अगर आप पढ़े लिखे हो, थोड़ा अंग्रेजी बोल लेते हो, तो आपको बोलेंगे तो गुरुजी है, जो बोलेंगे सच बोलेंगे. And that's how politicians wear dhotis all the time. But I had to wear a dhoti and a kurta today because it's for Saleem. Because Saleem, and I call him Saleem, and although he's much senior to me, in other circumstances I would call him Saleem Ji or Saleem Sir. But really in the circles where we met, I would most probably have called him Saleem. Because we met in circles of friends, and in friendship, titles don't matter. And I want to talk to you about friendship, because it is a relationship about which we talk very less. हम लोग टीचर स्टूडेंट रिलेशनशिप की बात करते हैं, हम पेरेंट चाइल्ड की बात करते हैं, बॉस सबऑर्डिनेट की बात करते हैं, हम दोस्ती के बारे में बात करते हैं. We don't realize the power of this relationship because it is not bound by law or custom. You devise it as you go along. And for me, Saleem was my friend. And the word that everybody I asked, I picked up the phone the last 2 days calling up all the common friends we have, tell me something about Saleem, tell me something about Saleem, because I know him not very closely. We've met 2-3 times, we have intensely spoken about 2 times, but not very close, but you know, it's like a kind of bonding that you have. And they all said, the words that came is aristocratic, graceful. And the thing is, when you talk Lucknow, the words that come to you are aristocratic and graceful. To be an aristocrat, to be a graceful person is something that is not common nowadays. हम बोलते नहीं हैं, such a graceful person. He's so aristocratic. तहजीब है. बोलने का, he knows how to speak, he knows how to walk, he knows how to respect people. That's what aristocracy is. To be able to respect anyone. And that's what Saleem would bring to the table. He would, just by the way he would speak, you would feel respected. And that's my memory of it. You know, when we talk of WhatsApp, we think of all kinds of crazy things, especially WhatsApp University. But for me, WhatsApp is a source of history because through WhatsApp, I can go back to the last chat I had with Saleem. How we tried to meet in Lucknow when I was here in 2018, and we had to meet at Fortune Park Hotel. And where is the hotel? Where is it located? Give the location. Small things like that. And meeting in this hotel room and spending 2 hours discussing philosophy, culture, art, literature, personal issues, a little bit of gossip, some bitchy comments about people we don't like, some warm comments about people we would like to like. And that's how friendship is made, because what do friends do when they join? They sit, they talk, they have food, they have drinks, they talk, and they enrich each other. And when you leave the conversation, there is a kind of a enrichment about you, because you know a little bit more about the world. Saleem was a historian. I'm a mythologist. And I'm talking about him thanks to the literature department. So literature brings history and mythology together. And that's something that we should. And what do I mean by that? I mean by that is that ultimately a historian has to write, and a mythologist has to write. And how you write and what you write constitutes literature. And it is from literature you figure out this is history, this is mythology, this is fiction, this is non-fiction, this is belief. And those are the conversations I would have with him. He had great friends. When he was in the US, he got a heart attack many years ago. Imagine you are in a foreign land and you get a heart attack. What happens? And you don't have many relatives around, you're with friends. Friends take care of you. As a single man, alone in a foreign land, how do you get access to him? Because the hospital will say only family allowed. So a friend says, I am his wife. Another friend says, I am his brother. And they get access to him. That's what friends do. They become wives when necessary. They become brothers when necessary. That's what they do. Or another friend wanted to visit Lucknow and unfortunately he got an appendicitis attack. Exactly the same time. And he said, no, you still come, but visit me in the hospital. You can stay in my house, use my car, see the city, but do visit me in the hospital. That's generosity. That's grace. कि देखो मैं तकलीफ में हूँ, मैं हॉस्पिटल में हूँ, तो घर आ जाना. That's what Saleem would do. So I spoke to people about him and the memories they shared with him. Saleem was 20 years old. So 1950, I'm 1970 born. Some of y'all will be born in the 21st century. So some of y'all will be like my children, maybe even grandchildren. So the world keeps changing and stories keep changing. But what doesn't change is the need for conversations where you discuss about life, where you talk to your friends and you want to know about them. And a good conversation is about discovering new things. And that is why I remember Saleem so much, because I discovered things when I talked to him. And not all profound things, simple things that when he would be sarcastic, he would put his tongue on his cheek literally. And you would know he's being sarcastic. He would actually put his tongue in his cheek, because somebody must have told him tongue in cheek bachpan mein, then he was stuck with that. Muhavra ko unhone literally le liya. Or if he would get angry, while everybody's voice would rise, his voice would go down. That's how you know Saleem is getting angry and irritated. Because his voice would keep going down and down and down. He's a graceful man. Graceful people don't shout. They whisper when they get irritated. That's tehzeeb. Chillate nahi. That's not the way you do it. That's not graceful. When you get angry, you go quiet. And when you go quiet, you will say, he's quiet, that means he's upset. That's scholarship. Because by shouting loudly, you can't make a stupid person a smart person. When you shout loudly, the stupid person becomes even more stupid and even starts feeling he's powerful. But when you're quiet, you ignite a little bit of curiosity. भैया गुस्से क्यों हुए हो? बात क्यों नहीं कर रहे आपस में? And then that is the beginning of curiosity, because you want to know. And only when you want to know will the Guru speak and Saraswati will come. जब तक पूछोगे नहीं, तब तक ज्ञान नहीं आएगा. चिल्लाने से ज्ञान नहीं बांटते. I have always said, I avoid going to schools and colleges to give lectures because students are forced to attend your lecture. They have no choice, no attendance mark. I like sessions where people come because they want to listen to you. And you know who had this problem? No, they had to get people to listen to them. Nobody was obliged to listen to them, but they had to get people to listen to them. These were the tawaiks of Lucknow. I once remember my friend, she's a very famous Thumri singer. And when she was singing, I looked at her after some time. I said, you know what, don't feel bad. But जब गा रही थी, मुझे लग रहा था कि you were soliciting me. You were trying to call me. आप बुला रही थी मुझे I felt a little awkward. So she smiled and she said, that means I've sang well. Because जब ठुमरी गाते हैं तो ये I have been, remember in the old days they did not know how to advertise. So आवाज के पावर से आप उनके घर के तक आते हैं. Because if you sing well, more customers will come to listen to you. And in those days they didn't have radio and television. So if they listen to something beautiful, they will come to you and they will come back to you, which in business is called repeat order. And when they like you very much, they tell their friends about you, which in business is called referral business. And so Tawai knew the art of marketing. Nobody is forced to listen to her song, but she knows how to make you listen to her song. You will come to listen to a song and she'll only sing when you pay her. That's called business. But in our country, we do not respect business. क्योंकि हम बोलेंगे वो तो बाजारू है. बाजार शब्द अच्छा नहीं. अंग्रेजी में बोल दो, that's marketing. अभी अच्छा लगा. बाजार के बारे में नहीं सीखते, मार्केटिंग जरूर सीखते. This is how language plays a very powerful role in deciding what you want to know. So Saleem was famous for his writings on the tawaiks. He explored these worlds of his tawaiks. He wrote about, they were known as gaane wali, singing. We don't understand that. India's singing and dancing culture, all the songs that we hear today, all the dances that you see today, they all come from the tawaiks. We have wiped them out of history. They are not part of history textbooks. These were women who were independent. They provided, in English if I were to say, hospitality and entertainment services. अलग लग रहा है ना? अभी नाचने वाले गाने वाले हैं. It sounds so crass. No, they provide hospitality and entertainment services. When अंग्रेजी में बोल दिया तो suddenly sounds so sophisticated. They provided services. They were paid money for it. So if they lived in the 21st century, they would pay GST because it's goods and service tax. And these women have been in Indian history from the times of the Vedas. 2000 years ago, there is a Buddhist document called Mahindra Sanatkada Lucknow, which talks about, well, the women in those days would be called Ganika, not Tawai. But the Ganika was called Bindumati. And King Ashok asks her, what is the secret of your success? And this is there in the Mahindra Sanatkada Lucknow, which is the Buddhist text. राजा अशोक जाके पूछते हैं, सम्राट अशोक को पूछते हैं कि बिंदुमती, आप तो गणिका हो, आपका इतना सक्सेस, आपकी वजह से गंगा भी उल्टी बह रही है. तो मेरे पास सत्य है. I have integrity. सत्य. मेरे पास सत्य की शक्ति है. This is a गणिका speaking to राजा अशोक. She is saying, what is सत्य की शक्ति? She says, मेरे पास जो भी आता है, जो भी कस्टमर आता है, I don't care whether they are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, truth. I don't care. If they give the right fee, I give them full service. आजकल हम इक्वालिटी की बात करते हैं, इक्विटी की बात करते हैं, बिंदुमती तो 2000 साल पहले बोल दी थी, एंड शी सेड धंधे के लिए अच्छा है, बट उसकी कहानी हम नहीं पढ़ेंगे स्कूल्स कॉलेजेस में. She has been wiped out of history. Why? And this is what Saleem told me. She said, because the 1857 uprising was funded by these women. These women were rich. They were very, very rich. They had huge havelis, quotas, they had a lot of money. They had access to intelligence. Because they didn't care who the customer was. कंपनी का आदमी हो, नवाब के आदमी हो, मराठा हो, मुगल हो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. कस्टमर इज कस्टमर. लेकिन कस्टमर बहुत कुछ बोल देता है. यानी कि आपका इंटेलिजेंस मिल गया आपको. आजकल इंटेलिजेंस के लिए हम व्हाट्सएप के ऊपर जाते हैं ना. उस जमाने में तबाको के पास जाते थे. And the British realized these women are extremely dangerous. They have to be wiped out and punished. So they were erased from Indian history. You had the Devdutt Act, and this culture was wiped out. These women passed on their property to women. They never got married. They had lovers. They had children, but जो उनका धरोहर था would always go from mother to daughter, mother to daughter, mother to daughter. British said no, no, no. Property can only go from father to son. So in Maharashtra side, the Devdasis in that area, we use the word Devdasi very crudely, it's not Devdasi word, and many words used. In the Maharashtra side, the women had to take male names so that they could transmit the property from the mother to the daughter. So the mother would have a male name, the daughter would have a male name in order to transmit. That's how you wipe out the history of people. And that's what Saleem told me. I didn't know about this. He told me that we have no understanding of this. So I started reading a little bit more about it, and I would tell him stories. He would tell me stories. He would tell me historical things, and I would tell him mythological things. And even today, in most universities, nobody teaches mythology because it's very difficult to define mythology because we're still stuck in the 19th century. Because we still use definitions which came with the British. We don't understand 21st century definitions. So let me explain to you the same way I explained to Saleem 2 years ago. In fact, I gave him the definition and we were laughing about it. Fact is everybody's truth. Fiction is nobody's truth. Myth is somebody's truth. Somebody's truth. So if you believe in God, it's your truth. So is God fact or fiction? God cannot be put, a scientist will never call it a fact. Is it fiction? But a religious person will say, no. Where will you put the Bible? In the fiction section or in the non-fiction section? Where will you put the Quran? Where will you put the Gita? And उसके ऊपर बवाल हो जाता है. Because daira ho gaya na, one binary is there. It can only be this or that, this or that, this or that. But you need a third space which says nahi, uska sach hai. Mera sach nahi hai, lekin uska sach hai. Somebody's truth. उस कौम का सच है, उस राष्ट्र का सच है, उस जाति का सच है, उस घराने का सच है. ये सोचने का तरीका बहुत अलग है. इट इज नॉट फैक्ट एंड फिक्शन. ये उनका विश्वास है. उसे आदर करो. अगर आदर नहीं करोगे, then you can't be an aristocrat. You can't be graceful. आदर करना मतलब आदर का मतलब क्या है? I respect your truth. जो भी तुम्हारा सच है, मुझे अजीबोगरीब लगे, but I respect it. And but I don't understand it, and therefore I will be curious about it. And if I'm going to be curious about it, Saraswati will come to me. क्योंकि फिर मैं विवाद नहीं करूंगा, मैं संवाद करूंगा. विवाद नहीं करूंगा, संवाद करूंगा. फैक्ट और फिक्शन की दुनिया विवाद की दुनिया है, राजनीति की दुनिया है, सरस्वती की दुनिया में, सरस्वती की दुनिया है संवाद वाली दुनिया। तुम अपना सच बताओ, मैं मेरा सच बताता हूँ, बात करते हैं, वार्तालाप के पश्चात तुम्हारे पास थोड़ा ज्यादा ज्ञान होगा, मेरे पास थोड़ा ज्यादा ज्ञान होगा। And this is what friends do. You cannot have friends in a debating society. आजकल सब जगह there are these people who are I am right, you are wrong, I am right, you are wrong. जो 7 दिन के पहले पता नहीं था कि यूक्रेन कहां है, आज यूक्रेन के एक्सपर्ट्स बन गए। और चूंकि मैं चिल्ला सकता हूं, मैं शास्त्री बन गया। धर्मशास्त्र और ढोल शास्त्र में बहुत अंतर होता है। ढोल बजाने से कोई राजा नहीं बनता, कोई ज्ञानी नहीं बनता। अगर ज्ञानी बनना तो फिर सुनना पड़ता है, श्रुति करना पड़ता है, दर्शन करना पड़ता है। You have to hear and see, and that is what friends do. A good friend listens to you. A good friend sees you, talks to you, engages with you, does Upanishad. So for me, Saleem was the person with whom I would do Upanishad. He introduced the world of Tawaifs to me. He introduced the world of Islamic culture to me. I came from the world of Ramayana and Mahabharata. And you know what? When I come to Lucknow, I would always want to go to Nimisha Aranya. So that is my world, Nimisha Aranya. वहाँ पौराणिक कथाएं पहली बार सौती और शौनक के बीच में हुआ था, गोमती नदी के किनारे। And the world which Saleem came from was also Lucknow, but a very different Lucknow. And only a samvad between the two will create magic. Vivad will only create victims, villains, shatru, not premi. We both believed in love. I would have not met Saleem if I was not a gay person. I have no reason to have met him. I am gay, he is gay, and therefore we meet in gay spaces. And we met before it was legal, right? Legal what? A few years ago. उसके पहले illegal था. तो दोस्तों के घर में छुप के मिलो. And people, the neighbors would say that only why are only men gathering in that house? तो कुछ girlfriends को भी बोलते आए हो हमारे साथ आ जाओ. And the girls will say, yeah, we will support you. You are the only men who don't look us that way. बहुत सेफ्टी लगता है आपके साथ। So we would sit in these rooms and have drinks and chat through the night about food and cuisine and costumes and sing Bollywood songs. He loved Bollywood songs. And he would sit in groups and they would sing Bollywood songs. And one of his friends, I actually asked him, tell me some of the favorite songs of Saleem Kidwai. So here is a history professor. I said, जब वो थोड़ा एक दो पेग के बाद, so what is the song that he would like? And let me see if I can play it for you guys. These are all old songs, so the young people are laughing. Can you guess the song? Yes. You can imagine this man, history professor from Lucknow culture, singing the song. So this was one of his songs which he liked. And you see, that's what friendship does, right? If you meet them professionally, you would meet them as a I would have met him as a historian, or I would have met him as an expert on Lucknow culture. But as a friend, when you meet a person, you get a 360-degree view of a person. You see him in so many aspects. You see him as a human being. उनका दर्शन करते हो। केवल दृष्टि से बात नहीं बनती है, दर्शन और दृष्टि में बहुत फर्क होता है। दृष्टि का मतलब है जब आप किसी चीज को देखते हो अपने मतलब से, तुम मेरे दृष्टि में हो, आई वॉन्ट समथिंग फ्रॉम यू। दिव्य दृष्टि का मतलब है मैंने तुमको पहचान लिया, मेरे पास दिव्य दृष्टि है। लेकिन दर्शन का मतलब है आप मेरे लिए दर्पण बने हो, यू आर माई मिरर, थ्रू यू आई सी माई सेल्फ। जब हम दर्शन करते हैं दोस्तों के साथ, हम हमारा दर्शन करते हैं। Because when you listen to them and you realize you love the same songs and you have the same issues, the same family issues, the same problems, what will gay men sit and talk to each other? We will talk about our lovers, our heartbreaks, how we don't understand why people are obsessed with marriage. ये क्या पागलपन है, ये क्या बंधन है? We would not understand this obsession, and all the girls in the room would say, "Gosh." You know, those are the moments of magic which happen, because वहाँ सच निकलता है. And you can imagine that in the kothas of Lucknow, where the Tawaiks will be sitting, we have of course a very Bollywood, Pakiza version of it. But really this is the place where the gay men would gather to sit and chat and talk about ordinary things. कि देखो, ये लड़ाई कर रहे हैं, यहाँ हम बात कर रहे हैं, संवाद कर रहे हैं, एंजॉय कर रहे हैं. इसे हम अय्याशी की दुनिया बोलते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पे सरस्वती बहती है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हम लोगों का दर्शन करते हैं. जहां दर्शन नहीं होता है वहां लोग विजय प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं. प्रेम की दुनिया में आप शरणागति लेते हैं. True love happens only when you submit to your beloved. इस युद्ध में बात है कि पहले आप कौन कहेगा. That is love, where you want the other to take charge and you are willing to let go. So the definition of love. I have had long conversations with Saleem on what does it mean to be loved. I would ask him, so did you ever have a relationship? He said, Devdutt, I'm not cut out for that. Because we were young gay people, now of course not so young, but at that time wondering कि अच्छा लोग बोल रहे settle हो जाओ, इसका मतलब क्या है, हमारे लिए तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. And he said, you are already settled, you can pay your bills, right? The day you can pay your bills, you are settled. खुद खाना बनाना आता है? I said, हाँ. I said, do you? Then he would laugh. Like most men, he knew how to make Maggi noodles and boil a few eggs and call it cooking. But you see, we are spoiled. Our boys are spoiled. We're spoiled by our mothers, we're spoiled by our sisters, we're spoiled by our aunts. When we start cooking, we become chefs. That's all we do. But these conversations are things that will not be easily documented in books. You will not find them in literature. How do you find these conversations in literature? Are they historical conversations because they happen with friends in a party over drinks? Are they mythological conversations because ये विश्वास की बातें हुआ होगा, नहीं हुआ होगा, किसको पता? Where are these conversations captured? They're not captured. We don't know, but this is where magic happens. यहाँ पे सरस्वती बहती है. Ideas come. Ideas are explored. The conversation I had with Saleem in a hotel in Lucknow 3 years ago, I don't remember it, but I know it was an enriching experience. We didn't want to leave because we were sharing ideas, we were sharing thoughts, he was sharing his insecurities about political issues, economic issues. Then in the middle of it, he talked about his love of birds and he loved birds and he loved pets. So suddenly the conversation would go from something very nasty about the political situation and discomfort to something as wonderful as the chirpings of the birds, or to something about the love of dogs, to something as profound as the poetry and the singing of Begum Akhtar. to something about historians like Barani, who lived 700 years ago, or Amir Khusro. And the next conversation is about some bitchy incident which happened in Kolaba in Bombay when he was 30 years old. All happening within a span of 60 minutes. Usko kya bolenge? This is the place where Saraswati happens. And that's the Saleem Kidwai I miss. Because it's not easy to meet people with whom you can have wonderful samvad on so many topics. On topics from Delhi Sultanate to Mughals to art, history, to fashion, Indo-Islamic culture. You don't get those stories easily. You don't meet people with whom you can have such fabulous conversations. आजकल conversation बहुत ही मैं सच, this kind of a cantankerous one. We actually believe that there are discussions happening on television, which is a waste of time. To sit down. So what I would like you to do is catch hold of those intellectual friends of yours, sit together, chat with them. Don't waste your time with these ridiculous debates on television. Debates से दोस्ती नहीं बनती. अगर दोस्ती बनाना है, सरस्वती पाना है, तो संवाद करो. अपनी जिंदगी में एक सलीम किदवाई को लेके आओ. And that's the thought I'm